Hello, hello. Welcome to today's live English lesson here on the Speak English with Vanessa YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you're here to learn English with me and to participate. If you're watching live, make sure to write comments in the chat box. Make sure to answer my questions because it's great if I'm using English, but it's even better if you're using English. If you're new and you'd like to join me for future live lessons, you can join every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. EST, which is the New York time zone. And if you want to get a notification about live lessons so that you never forget them, all you need to do is subscribe to the Speak English with Vanessa YouTube channel and click the little bell icon and you'll get a notification that says our live lesson is starting. Thanks everyone for joining me. Khan in Vietnam, hello. Bassam in Yemen, hello. Luis in Geneva, wonderful. Malaysia, Morocco, excellent. Rio de Janeiro, Tiago, glad you're here. Well, today we're going to be talking about an idiom that involves a hat. So you might notice that I'm wearing a hat, and it's not because there's sun shining in my apartment. It's a really cloudy day, actually, but it's because our idiom today is about a hat, kind of. The word hat is in the idiom, but it really has nothing to do with a hat. So I wanted to wear this to help you remember the idiom and to use it correctly. So before we get started talking about what this idiom means, I want to ask you a question. Who is one of the most important people in your life? Maybe it's your wife or your husband or your kids or your best friend, maybe your dog, maybe your parents. Who is really, really important to you? We're going to use this person in our idiom full sentence in just a moment, but let's talk about this really important person. Madi says, my mother. Great. Oh, Tiago says, my mom. Misaki, my family. My mom, my dad. Me, Jean-Jacques. Wow. Don't tell your family. Marina says, my dog. Vinci says, my kids, of course. Wonderful. Oh, Tiago says, myself. Great. It's important to love yourself. So let's take the person or the animal who you just said, and let's try to make a sentence with today's idiom. So let me tell you a quick story, and I want to see if you can make your own sentence without any explanation. So, as many of you know, I'm going to have a baby in less than 3 months. Whew, coming soon. So when I told my mother-in-law that I was going to have a baby, she said, I will help you at the drop of a hat. I will come immediately and help you. If you want help, I will help you at the drop of a hat. And that's because it's important to her to participate in things that are happening in our family, and just because she really cares. Because she cares about me, she cares about my husband, who is her son, and about the new grandchild. She is willing to help at the drop of a hat. And that's so special to have someone in your life who will help you at the drop of a hat. Can you guess what this idiom means? Can you use this idiom about your special person who you just mentioned? I'm going to write my sentence here on the clipboard, so it'll give you just a moment to think about how you can put that person into the sentence. So maybe I could say, my mother-in-law would help me, so kind, at the drop of a hat. So nice. So let's take a look really quick and see. Here's our lovely idiom. At the drop of a hat. And two people are helping each other. Oh, so we've got some great sentences. I would help you at the drop of a hat. I'm sure my mom would help me at the drop of a hat. Misaki, great sentence. I'm sure my mom would help me at the drop of a hat. I would see my boyfriend at the drop of a hat. I would go to the UK at the drop of a hat. Oh, I think you guys know what this means. Marco says it means immediately. Yep, you got it. This means immediately, right away. Yes, and I think, well, I'm not exactly sure where this idiom originated, but if you imagine a long time ago, a lady dropping her hat and a gentleman running over and picking up her hat and giving it to her immediately, we kind of have this idea of helping someone instantly. So for you, a lot of you said, me too. My mother-in-law would help me at the drop of a hat. When I feel sick, I go to the doctor at the drop of a hat. Great. Oh, you've got it. This is a beautiful way to use this because you're expanding your vocabulary. Of course, you could say, my mother-in-law would help me immediately. My mother-in-law would help me right when I need it. Okay, that's great, but you're here because you want to expand your vocabulary. So let's make sure that we're using this idiom in your sentence. Oh, Douglas says, if it were possible, I would visit Vanessa and her baby at the drop of a hat. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be great. Oh, Fifi says, my mom helps me to prepare dinner at the drop of a hat. So she doesn't sit back and let you prepare dinner. She's always helping. That's really nice. Friendly. Oh, Navjot says, I don't make important decisions at the drop of a hat. So you're using this in a negative sense, something that you don't do immediately. And that's exactly right. We can definitely use this in a negative way. So I used it in a positive way. She would help me at the drop of a hat. I would go to the UK at the drop of a hat. And you used it in a negative way. I wouldn't do something at the drop of a hat. So I want to ask you now, let's try to use this in a negative way. What is something that you don't do at the drop of a hat? Maybe make an important decision. Like Navjot said, he said, I don't make important decisions at the drop of a hat. I need some time to think about it. Great, you have to reflect. Make sure it's a good decision. Oh, we've got some excellent sentences. Thank you for sharing them. I would help you with your Japanese at the drop of a hat. Thanks, Misaki. I appreciate it. Oh, Erin says, when it starts to rain, I get my clothes from the clothesline at the drop of a hat instantly. You don't want them to get wet. Oh, I'll make dinner at the drop of a hat. Excellent. Let me write a negative sentence so that you can see how it's used here. What's something that I don't do at the drop of a hat? Oh, how about, oh, I have a good one. I didn't decide to have children at the drop of a hat. It was a really important decision, and my husband and I have been married for almost 7 years, so we thought about it for a long time and talked about it for a long time. It wasn't an instant decision. I didn't decide, so using that negative here, I didn't decide something at the drop of a hat. I didn't decide to have children at the drop of a hat. It was a really important decision. So I took some time and thought about it. Oh, a lot of you said, I don't answer all questions at the drop of a hat. You take some time and think about it. Oh, Richard says, I watch Vanessa's live lesson at the drop of a hat when the notification shows up. Excellent. I'm really glad that the lessons are useful to you and it's fun to participate quickly. Oh, Fifi says, I don't make decisions about my life at the drop of a hat. So maybe for you, we have a similar mindset. When there are important decisions, you take your time. You think about it. I don't make important decisions at the drop of a hat. They're too important to make quickly. Oh, I don't go to work at the drop of a hat. Oh, I see. So maybe for you, if your boss calls you and says, oh, we really need you to come to the office today a little bit early, maybe you don't do it immediately. You say, okay, I'll come later, and you come later. Not immediately. Take your time. Muaz says, I didn't decide to go to college at the drop of a hat. I didn't decide to go to college. That's a big decision. Great way to use it in a negative sense. I don't drive at the drop of a hat. Okay, so maybe for you, driving's a big deal and you like to take it easy. Think about it for a little bit. So as you might have noticed, we use this idiom at the end of both of these sentences. And there's not a strict rule about using it at the beginning or using it at the end, but as you can see, it generally sounds most natural at the end. So you're probably going to hear in TV shows or movies when people use this idiom, you'll probably hear it at the end of a sentence. But we could put it at the beginning. At the drop of a hat, my mother-in-law would help me. Okay, it just means immediately. It means the same thing, but typically, at least for myself, I would use this at the end of a sentence. So if you are studying English, and that's why you're here, I imagine, because you're studying English, I want to know which English-speaking country would you go to at the drop of a hat? Ooh, let's dream big. Which English-speaking country would you go to? Maybe you're already living in an English-speaking country. For me, even though English is my native language, I would go to Australia at the drop of a hat. If someone gave me a free plane ticket, of course, I would go to Australia at the drop of a hat. Maybe it's because I already live in the US and I've already been to the UK and Canada's not too far away. I think I would still go to Canada at the drop of a hat if I had the opportunity, but Australia and New Zealand are so far away that I would go at the drop of a hat if I had the opportunity. So what about for you? Oh, Tiago says, I'd like to go to Orlando. Mohammed says, if possible, I'd go to Canada at the drop of a hat. Oh, a lot of you said Canada. I would go to Canada. Gabriel says, I would go to New Zealand at the drop of a hat. Stella, you chose England. I would go to England at the drop of a hat. Oh, Alex says, you should know the Fearless Fluency Club. Learn it at the drop of a hat. I'm so glad that that course is useful to you. If you would like to join Alex in the Fearless Fluency Club, you're welcome to do it and become my personal student. I will put a link in the description. Melvin says, I want to go to the US, and I would go there at the drop of a hat. So here we're talking about a hypothetical situation. It's not a real plan. At the moment, you don't have airplane tickets. You're not really planning to go to that place. So we're more likely to use would. I would go to the US at the drop of a hat. I would go to the UK at the drop of a hat. Something that's possible in the future, but you're just dreaming about it. I would do this at the drop of a hat. Oh, Gustavo, we have the same idea. I would go to Australia at the drop of a hat. Bruno, too. If I had money, I would go to Australia. Excellent. Me too. It's a pretty far away place, so it's pretty expensive, but you know what? I'm sure it's completely worth it. It would be amazing. Oh, Estella says, I'd like to go to Asheville at the drop of a hat. Great. Well, I hope you would enjoy it. The sun's coming out, so now it's much better. Well, thank you everyone for using this idiom in so many different ways. Before we go, let's say a full sentence together, because it's useful to write sentences, but it's also important to speak out loud, exercise those pronunciation muscles. So what I recommend is, if you're in a private place, quiet place, excellent. If you're not, go to a place that's a little more quiet, somewhere that you feel comfortable, and we're going to say one sentence using this idiom a couple times. And I'm not going to write it down on my clipboard. What I want you to listen to the sentence and write it in the chat box. So it's kind of like a dictation practice. See if you can hear each word in the sentence, and then we're going to say it together. Are you ready? Let's say a sentence about English. How about, I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. It means I'm not scared to go to an English-speaking country because I'm really excited about it. It would be awesome. I want to practice speaking English. I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. If Vanessa gave me an airplane ticket, I would do it at the drop of a hat. Let's say this sentence together. I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. Let's say it slowly. Thank you for those of you who are writing this sentence down. Excellent. Let's say it slowly so you can see my mouth and kind of imitate that pronunciation, and then we'll say it faster. Are you ready to say it slowly? I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. Let's say it a little faster. I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. I would visit an English-speaking country at the drop of a hat. Beautiful. Thank you. Gustavo, Abdullah, Marco, Aline, Tiago, Halal, thank you everyone for writing this sentence down and hopefully saying it out loud. I want you to exercise some pronunciation muscles. Don't just be passive, be active. So thank you everyone for using this idiom, and I hope that in your English conversations, you'll hear this as you're watching movies, as you're interacting with English speakers, I hope. You're gonna hear this idiom and you'll feel more comfortable understanding it and hopefully now using it yourself. So if you're talking about travel with one of your foreign friends or English-speaking friends, definitely use this idiom. You could say, I would visit Australia at the drop of a hat. Ooh. If they're an English learner as well, maybe they don't know this idiom and you can teach it to them. Or if they're a native speaker, they'll be quite impressed. So make sure that you use this. And thanks so much for practicing together with me. I really appreciate it. If you feel like InQ says, no, Vanessa, don't go. Well, I have some good news. First of all, there are a lot of live lessons on my YouTube channel. They're the recording, the replay that you can watch of previous live lessons about idioms, phrasal verbs, expressions that you can continue to learn with even though they're not live. So feel free to explore and use those videos, learn for yourself and practice. And if you would like to get my 2 free email lessons each week, all you need to do is download my free ebook. It's called 5 Steps to Becoming a Confident English Speaker. And in this free ebook, I give you my tips and my story as well of learning language and a lot of resources. So thousands of English learners have really benefited from this free ebook, and then I'll send you weekly email lessons. So you'll be surrounded and immersed in English. That's the goal. I hope it will be useful to you. You can read the free ebook in the description below this video, or at the end, I'll put it on the screen so that you can check it out and join me in the future. Have a beautiful day. I hope that you are having an enjoyable Tuesday. Thanks so much. I'll see you again. I hope that you'll join me again at the drop of a hat. See you later, everyone. Bye.